inform me that it's 2 minutes after 6. Call a meeting to order. I'd like to welcome everyone this afternoon. A beautiful day it was out there. Look at the calendar, and looks like the calendar we have Friday, May 1st will be our first previously known as Art After Dark. So put that on your calendars and come to the town and spend some money. Let the town manager and I see bags. We want to see bags from
That's right.
the stores. You're the one that taught me that. You said, if you don't see people walking down the street with bags, they're not spending any money, right?
That's right.
I'll shut up. I'll get the town attorney after me again. All right, we'll move on to public comment. Okay, you got any public comment tonight? Okay. All right, well, additions and deletions to the agenda. Are there any changes?
We have one, Mayor, and that is to appoint 2 members to the Downtown Waynesville Commission.
Okay. So you need,
You want to add that to the consent agenda,
That
unless
sounds
you want
great.
to talk about it?
No.
Let's do the consent
Okay.
agenda.
Yeah.
I'm good with that.
no,
Yes.
this is additions or deletions to the agenda itself.
Oh,
Okay.
that is
We
the
can add
consent
that
is
to the consent
part of
agenda.
Okay.
Okay.
You want to add that to consent agenda? Is that
Please,
your
sir.
correction? Okay.
Yes.
All right, we'll add that item to their consent
And I'll
agenda.
second that.
Okay, you already made a motion?
Yeah, to the additions or deletions to the agenda.
John second?
He made the first, I made the.
Okay, all right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, show like sign.
Now, now we have to vote on the consent agenda.
Okay, the consent agenda.
Martha's,
Well, so, Councilperson Sutton, was
Yeah.
your motion to amend the regular agenda or the consent
the
agenda?
consent
The consent
agenda.
agenda.
For the sake of Candace, when she listens to this recording again, I wanted to clarify, since I
Thank
was
you.
confused. I assumed
Yeah, me
she
too.
meant-
I was
Yeah.
confused.
Thank
That
you.
makes two of us.
So that means that there were no changes to the regular agenda. is that
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
All right.
And before I make a motion on the consent agenda, Mayor, I'd like just
Okay,
one moment of saying I'll support calling for the hearing for Chick-fil-A's proposal because that's the process. But I want to put Chick-fil-A and staff on notice right now. I am not a guaranteed yes on May the 12th. We just applied for a grant to update our pedestrian plan. We have said repeatedly that Russ Avenue needs to be more walkable, not less. And the project in front of us removed a sidewalk and takes out 5 mature trees to add another drive-through lane. I understand conditions were attached, but a fee in lieu doesn't put the sidewalk back and replacement shrubs don't replace a canopy maple. I want to hear from the applicant on May the 12th about what the project actually does for the surrounding neighborhood and for pedestrians on that corridor. That is going to be a hard sell for me. So with that, I will make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
okay, got a motion to,
Second.
got a second by John. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, show like sign. And I also agree with you, Councilman Sutton, for that statement you just made.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, we'll move right along to the proclamation. Let's see, well, I passed it, didn't I? Way past it, didn't I? Town manager. Move here. We got a proclamation tonight in recognition of Mountain View Garden Club. It's their 75th anniversary. And so I'm going to read this proclamation. Whereas the town of Waynesville recognizes the Mountain View Garden Club on its 75th anniversary for valuable and enduring contributions to the Waynesville community and our great county of Haywood. And whereas the Mountain View Garden Club is a long continuing service organization in our community, it has worked to enhance the beauty and environmental health of Waynesville through its projects in the greater Haywood County community by planting flowers, trees, improving community landscaping, and establishing bluebird habitats. Whereas the volunteers provide beautification and maintenance in support of the Shelton House College Garden, the Waynesville Library Garden, Medford Garden, the topiaries at the entrance to the Waynesville Library, and the Serenity Garden at Richland Creek. And whereas the Mountain View Garden Club supports Haywood County elementary schools through donations to their school gardening programs, whereas the town of Waynesville of North Carolina recognizes the Mountain View Garden Club and the efforts of its members to preserve and improve the beautiful landscape of the town of Waynesville community. Now therefore, I, Greg Caldwell, Mayor of the town of Waynesville, do hereby proclaim and recognize April 28, 2026 as the 75th anniversary of Mountain View Garden Club. In witness thereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the town of Waynesville, North Carolina, to be affixed this 28th day of April in the year of our Lord 2026. I have been familiar with the gardening club for years. They were a good program. They did a lot of work down in the Frog Level area, and our son, where's E.T.? We talked about that, didn't we? That the garden club did that sign that said, "Welcome to Waynesville."
We believe so, yes, but we can't find the sign.
You think,
No, sir, we'll have to have another one made.
oh, really? You think DOT maybe disposed or something?
Nobody knows,
Nobody knows.
but we're still looking.
Okay, all right. If you would please put that on your calendar.
Right, I was hoping it might show up in like a warehouse somewhere, or public works.
Yeah,
Let's call 48 hours. Maybe
Yeah.
they can get to.
It's in the Cambridge.
What's that, WLOS
Oh,
invested, like, maybe
yes,
they'll
let's
find
do
it.
it.
Maybe they can find it.
you might go up to Alex's house and look in his backyard.
Oh,
I would highly suggest that.
I'll quote you on that.
Yeah. That sounds like an Alex project to me. Okay, we're moving on to old business. It's special event fees. And Jesse Fowler was going to be our presenter tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So I'm hoping that in your agenda packets here, you've got the event fees that I brought to you last meeting. And if you've reviewed them, I'm just kind of hoping that this is okay with you guys to approve. So I've got 6 tiers. That 6th tier is really just sporting events and outdoor entertainment events like concerts. The other ones are kind of scale up from small neighborhood events all the way to 5Ks. And I threw a stage rental in there because we're getting a new stage soon for $250. If you guys are
Okay. Do you have any questions?
absolutely not. Yeah. I think that's a really conservative.
I think it's good.
Fee.
I do too.
So-
I think it's really conservative as well.
We have to start somewhere, so.
Yeah.
I am ready to bump those numbers up whenever you guys want.
Okay. Because they seem slow to me, but.
I'll say again, the highest fee that I found in the state was like $500.
Yeah.
I wasn't comfortable giving you folks a recommendation that was above that.
Yeah.
I
I think that's conservative right there to start with,
It's a
just
good
like you
start.
said. I'll move to John. John, you have questions regarding Anthony?
Thank you so much,
Yep.
Jesse, because I know you did a lot of work on this, and I think it's reasonable and fair. And we're not pricing people out like
We're
the
not.
neighborhood
No.
is. Small neighborhood events is still zero. So, and it's going to bring us into line with every other municipality in the state of North Carolina. My one question is, and it may be a separate motion, this is from Martha, is the request for the ball games. Do we need to have some kind of procedure to ask the police department to negotiate with the county for that?
So, I mean,
Or
I
what's
think
the
that
process?
the council has been relatively clear to the chief that they want him to coordinate restructuring our agreement with the school system.
For football games?
For
Yeah.
football
We don't
games.
have a necessarily an agreement, so that's what
Yeah.
that 500
Well,
is
we have
for.
an unspoken agreement, I think, at this point, where we have just to supply police protection.
Right.
Without any kind of,
Well, right now, the agreement would be that they pay us $500. They wouldn't really be negotiating
Oh, that-
right,
unless they
I'm good
want
with
to
that.
operate underneath our special assignment contract, which we use with DOT.
mhm.
But that is a per officer basis. That's a privately paid kind of.
Yeah.
So I'm good either way for the
Well, so
police
if
chief.
the council wants to take a more direct approach, you could just make a motion to direct the chief of police to restructure that service to its, with the special assignment, or?
Yeah, but I don't want to double dip on them, right? Either we charge them $500 per the fee schedule or we charge them for special assignments. I was instructed to charge them for the fee schedule.
Right,
So
exactly.
let's leave it like that, and then I'm gonna ask you for more work.
That's
I
fine.
thought we,
I don't,
in the discussions with the chief, they were going to deal with the school system directly because that would conceivably result in more money for their officers.
it would, but
Overtime.
in the
And
discussions
no-
with the chief,
and no
yes, I
overtime.
was instructed to bring back a $500 fee.
I-
But if we're doing one or, I wouldn't recommend doing them both.
Sure.
Correct.
That's,
I would personally be in favor of letting the chief handle it because, and are you guys involved in that at all?
Mhm.
Yes,
they are.
We don't really have an agreement. They have to provide medical care, and that's kind of a, I don't want to say you right now, that's not, the situation is less than ideal right now on that also.
So,
You don't have a fee schedule that you do for that kind of,
Well, and
And-
my question is, Jesse, the school system didn't apply for special permits for football games, right?
Mm-mm.
So this schedule wouldn't apply to them,
oh, well, it would after it's approved.
but it's,
but
After this is approved, if they wanted to receive support from our police department and fire department, then they would be required to at least pay us $500. This doesn't make them file a special event permit fee, but it does classify, or a special event application, but it would require them to pay the $500 as part of the adopted fee schedule.
Jesse, just for clarification, is this money that will be charged to the school system or Haywood County? Is the $500 the fee to?
Whoever the
For
applicant,
coverage.
whoever, it would be the school, I guess.
So
so.
the
oh, and
school
they're already
will apply
$3
for this,
million
not
on
Haywood
the
County.
whole.
Yeah, it'd be the school.
Yeah, I would talk to a representative from the school that is requesting
Yeah,
service.
it would be the school, I'm sure.
I mean, right now, we provide police and fire service,
Mhm.
and we aren't compensated at all.
No, we're not.
right?
No.
And so to me, from that specific function, okay, football games,
Mhm.
that we provide fire and police protection, it would seem that let's get our officers the highest amount of compensation.
I agree. That's why we have those special assignments contracts. But just to reiterate, I was instructed to come back with a $500 fee. If we
So
want to
to-
amend this, we can.
From my perspective, I say let's leave the football games out.
Okay.
of that.
yeah,
Correct.
so I would recommend to the council, one, that you, if you were inclined to approve this fee schedule, that you do it subject to a motion to amend the proposed schedule so that tier 6 does not include public school events.
Can we say?
We could just strike
football
number
games
6.
Well, you
Specifically,
might have other sports events, so if someone
Like
holds
soccer.
a soccer tournament, or someone uses the baseball fields and wants to close off that.
Those already have fees.
I know, I'm just saying that there are other sports and type events where theoretically that might apply. I think it's an appropriate tier to include in our system.
Not include public
But
school
not to include
events.
events hosted by the public school system or Haywood County Schools. And so then that removes that obligation from the special event permit, because to me, it's not a special event permit. because they're not applying for special event permits to hold football games.
That's a routine.
So, yeah,
I think we'd be
Routine.
clear on both.
but I
The-
think to clarify that they are not covered by this policy, that the police department and the fire department will reach their own agreements for compensating
and-
our personnel and secret board.
And I agree with all of that, except I think we should specify football games because those are different beasts. If somebody, if for example, the band wanted to put on block the street and put on a concert or something like that, then I think charging, that wouldn't require law enforcement presence and fire presence. So to me, I would argue in favor of being very specific as it relates to football games and not just.
John, I totally agree with you because you've got 10 to 8,000 people attending football
Yeah.
games occasionally, especially when it's Pisgah versus Tuscola. But the track meets may get 20 people.
Yeah,
And so fire and police are not there regulating the crowds and worrying about stuff. But yes, the football and even some basketball games, when it gets a little bit heated, both those things, those stadiums can be packed.
Yeah.
So I agree, John.
Okay, you make an amendment to that or?
Yes, I'll make a
Okay, go
motion
ahead.
to approve the fee schedule with the exception, with changes to tier 6, that it does not include public football games, public school football games.
correct.
Okay,
And I'll second.
got a motion second by John. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, so like sign. Okay, thank you, Jesse.
You
For
did a
all
lot
that
of work on that.
Work
Thank
you had on that.
Yes.
Okay, let's move on to, moving on. Item 5. Let's see now. Hold on, let me take a whistle. I don't know what. Forgive me. Item 5 is Whole Blooming Theme Social District request. Cassandra, did I say that right?
You did, yes. Hi, council. Thank you for having me today and hearing me out. My name is Cassandra Carter. My presentation is on this screen. Well, I'm sure you guys have it too. This is my first time.
We don't buy usually.
Okay.
So it's okay.
So I am seeking a social district for the Whole Blooming Thing Festival, Saturday, May 9th, from the hours of 10 to 4. I have my boundary map. So it would just be the boundary of the festival from where Panacea is to the end of Depot. And then it stops, the festival stops like right in front of the Trader.
Yeah.
And we think it would be great for like cross-promoting businesses. There's been other social districts in town with no incidents, and I was just wanting to maybe get one for myself. I spoke with the ALE officer, Joseph Moore, and with our malt beverage special event permit, we're allowed to sell beer at any sanctioned permit without having to have any additional. This is Frog Level Brewery. I'm the assistant manager of Frog Level Brewery also. So it'd be Frog Level selling the beer. They are allowed to do that without any special permissions, as long as the town is okay with it.
Is there any other businesses there that sell alcohol?
There's not.
I was going for Panacea. Just,
No, they haven't started doing that again yet, unfortunately.
yeah. There used to be some down there, but they all got flooded out.
Julia, you have
We
any
miss our
questions?
cultivate neighbors.
John? Anthony?
Yeah, I have one. Do you see this as being the framework for going forward in the future as well for a Frog Level social district, or is this just a one-time, one-off? Do you think those boundaries are set well enough? Or
I feel like they are unless like the town wants to, unless we can connect
To-
with Main Street down there, and that would be great as well. But for this festival and until we have other businesses, there's something going in down there. I don't know what it is yet, but I'm excited to find out until there's other businesses down there that sell. Then
One little, I think Frog Level is exactly the kind of neighborhood that deserves this kind of investment and activation. I'm supportive, and I think this is going to be a great event for the community.
thank you.
Okay, I need a motion for something.
I'll make a motion to approve the Social District for Frog Level.
Second.
Second by John, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, show like sign. You're good, ma'am.
Thank you so much, y'all.
Okay, move on. Item 6, approval of emergency funds for pool air system repair. Luke Kinsler. Pool has given you a fit, apparently.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, thank you all. So what we're asking tonight is requesting approval for emergency repairs to the pool air handling system. The recent winter storm back in early February or late January, what happened was, and I'll give some context to this because it gets a little bit complicated with HVAC systems. So there are what is called duct detectors mounted on the outside of the ducts, and they act as a fire alarm. They detect smoke within the, in case there was a fire. So what that does is when that duct detector is triggered, or in this case, it was frozen, there had been water filling up in that box. So hot air meets cold winter air, and this only happens in the winter. We believe this to be a design flaw. It was unforeseen in the beginning of the project, but anyway, we've been having trouble out of this, and we didn't start to see this until even a year or more after the air system was installed and put in. So anyway, it froze during the winter storm and shut down both units. There was no water circulating through the pumps, and a large hot water coil froze and busted. So we had to get Bolton Construction out to service it. We found the leaks. And so what we did in the meantime was we filed an insurance claim. I've asked Paige to check on this. We've hit a brick wall with that. We've not gotten any updates on the insurance claim. We're not sure how that'll move forward due to the design flaw. We've contacted Bolton Construction and said, like, hey, this was a design flaw. Can you guys help us out with this? They're kind of thinking, I don't think they really understand what the design flaw was. They think a pump was installed in the water system to keep the water flowing, so this shouldn't have happened. Anyway, it's been kind of touch and go on that. But anyway, we filed an insurance claim. We've hit a brick wall on that. But right now, we really need to get that unit up and running. So we asked Bolton Construction for an estimate. These parts are just very rare parts. They're expensive. It's a dehumidification for a pool system. So we got the estimate back, and it's in the amount of $19,714. We're asking for an emergency repair from fund balance because we are confident going forward with FEMA hasn't dedicated the money yet for the dog park, but they have said it's looking promising that we will be reimbursed for $200,000 for the dog park project. So we felt comfortable coming because we only have one air unit up and running, and it's keeping the place kind of cool right now, but we've had some 80-degree days here lately, and it's getting really hot and smoldering in there. So that one air unit is having trouble keeping up. And we don't want to leave the unit just dead.
Okay, anyone have any questions for Andrew?
As the Bolton estimates notes that the final cost may vary. Has a not to exceed cap been established?
I haven't discussed that with Andrew Toney, but I will certainly do that.
And the second is that the cost, the estimate is $19,714, but the budget ordinance is $18,425, which is a difference of the sales tax. So we'll have to amend the budget ordinance to reflect the sales tax.
True, I put
Is
in
that
the whole
correct,
lump.
Rob?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you. That's it.
John, do you have a question?
The only question I would have is, you indicated that the problem was the result of a design flaw.
Yes,
Bolton put that system in
yes, they did.
and
You're correct.
therefore should be responsible for the design flaw, and yet we're contracting with them to fix a problem that essentially they caused. right?
Yes, their architect engineer that they used, Leading Edge LLC, because I remember I was over the project years ago. I guess typically that's where they install them. That's their go-to to install them. But I don't think they were thinking of like this is outside and not mounted inside. So there is some hard conversations to have with them. I'm having
Did
those.
this occur during the deep freeze that we had?
Yes. Yeah, it did. Yeah. So I'm going to be talking with Mark Bolton more about this and wanting to do more cost sharing or try to get these fixed. So Johnson Controls gave us a quote to relocate the duct detectors at a better suitable location. That was $15,000, and I said, we shouldn't have to, pay for that or this, but here we are. So it's been a really tough
So what
negotiation.
you're saying is that we would need to fix and potentially relocate. So
Yep.
this isn't going to fix the problem.
Right. Yeah. Essentially. Yeah. Because so it only happens during the winter when it's really cold. So our focus right now is trying to get their system up and running. And then before this winter, we need to really talk with Bolton and Johnson Controls and say, we can't have this anymore. We shouldn't be going through this.
Should we involve our attorney into looking at investigating this a little bit further to figure out
I
what's
would.
going on with what we were told was going to happen with those units and now that they've failed?
Yeah, I mean, it is the kind of scenario where lawyers would ultimately get involved. I mean, I think that, Luke, if you start to get real pushback and we're still in the hole,
Yeah. That's what we've kind of run into. They said, well, let us go back to the drawing board on our end. And I don't hear anything back. And I'm just like, hey, can we work out something here? Because this is not our fault.
This is true.
This is not our fault. We didn't have,
how old is the equipment?
so it was installed in November of 2020. For the first winter, we didn't have any issues.
Well,
And
has
then,
it been cold? Like,
Yep.
we had sub-zero.
We've had some miles.
Yeah.
We've had
Yep.
mild winters since 2020.
And is any of the equipment still under warranty?
no, not that I'm aware
That's
of.
what I figured.
So I asked them to come back. I called Bolton when this first happened and I said, hey, these duct detector boxes are filling up with water. You need to fix these. And it started with that. And they came back and put some insulation in the boxes. Well, that didn't work. It just got filled up with water and got the insulation wet, and we still have the problem. And it doesn't happen unless it's really cold, but at the same time, it happens during the winter. So we
When was that? When you reached out to them originally about the problem and they proposed installation?
it was a little over a year after they had installed it.
So long time ago
Mm-hmm.
before we ultimately crashed.
Yeah. And then they come out and they did their thing and they kind of feel like, well, that shouldn't be doing that, So I'm going to be honest, I'm hitting some brick walls with this, and they're saying, well, it's going to cost this. Well, we shouldn't be responsible for that. So before
Are you having a problem right now with cool? So the system's completely down right now.
So one unit is completely down until this coil is fixed. The other, there's two separate units. So the one unit is, it didn't get any freeze or bust, so it's working fine. And it on a good day, it'll cool the place, no problem. But if we have a real hot day, like we had this extreme weather hot the past few weeks, it's not keeping up. So, and we had this on hold since February because we were like, well, we'll let the one unit, keep doing its thing until we figure out what insurance may cover, if they covered it all. But it does seem like it needs to be more of, we need to push back with some more leverage.
Yeah, but this has been going on for 2 months or so.
Madam Attorney,
That's what.
if we try to get this up and going to make sure that our people are taken care of with the thing, if we agree to this tonight, would that anyway
No.
influence anything proceeding that
Under North Carolina law, you have a
I'm not going to use the word
requirement.
sue, but I just said
Well,
it,
you
but
know, pursue our options.
pursue our options.
Yeah, no, we have an obligation to mitigate our damages, so making sure that the system goes back online, because it dehumidifies as well as cools, so there may be damage to other equipment if the humidity is not maintained, so we
Yep.
want to make sure we avoid, and also the risk to humans who, you know, get
So if-
overheated
if
in
we-
our facility, we want to avoid those challenges,
If
so.
we
yeah.
do this upgrade, it will no well
It will not-
infringe on anything, any path that we take forward.
It will
Okay.
not. And also, I mean, all you're doing is you're authorizing Luke to spend this money. If we manage to reach an agreement, we don't have to use all of it.
Right.
So if, you know, depending on how effective a letter from you.
Is Bolton the only option?
In a way, yes and no. From the beginning, we felt comfortable using them as our preventative maintenance agreement because this is a specialized system. Bolton has installed many of these. Some other, like even Gentry, who does our current HVAC systems, they could probably do it, but Bolton has been in contact with parts suppliers, distribution, and they know exactly. They're tapped into the what's called the Ceresco Web Century online portal, so they can see the alarms. They can go into the teeth of it, and so and I will say this: when they come out to repair something and do their maintenance, they've been great to work with. This has just been something unforeseen from us to them, and they're kind of like, "Huh, it shouldn't be doing that." Well, it is.
Yeah, I mean, a $40,000 hit is a big thing for any business to absorb, no matter how big they are. So
Yeah.
I can understand why they might be hesitant to accept full responsibility right off the bat, but,
Exactly.
but yeah, no, we need to make sure that the facility's running properly. And it
Yes.
will not,
Reflect anything that we decide down
it
the
will
road.
not, it will not have any impact on the viability of the claim, you know, if it does turn out to be Bolton's design flaw or, you know, an engineering failure. So if their architect engineer is the one who
Yeah.
made an error, then it will not, us repairing the system will not reflect any kind of acceptance of responsibility.
Right, and our focus tonight was we knew we needed to get this going. We were just kind of waiting on whether it's insurance but again, their architect and engineer with Leading Edge LLC, Jay, I can't remember his full name, but Jay was the one that designed that system. So Bolton was going by his designs and where to put the duct detectors. So it may need to go more down the rabbit hole to find out who is accountable and who needs to foot the bill.
That's the beauty of joint and several liability. We just throw them all in the pot and see what pot rises to the surface.
So are we, I guess two issues. Number one, get this going, and number two, get you going.
Yes.
Yep,
All right, I'm down with that.
10-4.
We don't have to make a motion to get you to
No,
go.
you do not.
No.
Mr. Mayor, I'm ready, if you're ready for a motion. Anybody got anything else? Okay, I would like to make a motion to approve $19,714 to Bolton Construction for the emergency repair of the pool air handling system and approve the budget amendment.
Got a motion by Judy,
Second.
second by John. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Should like some?
Thank you so much.
I think you're still up there, my friend.
Yes.
Approval of funds for relocation of the sand volleyball courts at the recreation park.
So yes,
Take that one up next.
Yes. So as you know, Dog Park is being built as we speak, and we've had to relocate the sand volleyball courts. Our plan has been all along to put them at Rec Park. So what turned out as an in-house, we were going to jointly do this with Public Works and try to build it in-house. So just to bring this to you, we had a conversation down at Rec Park behind the tennis courts with Ben Blair, who stockpiled the sand for us. And he said, I'd be glad to, build this. It would save you some time because we know a lot of projects are backed up. It takes a lot of in-house work to do it. And I said, yeah, just what would you do this project for? And originally he came back with a proposal of 30,000, and we said, no, sorry, but we'll just have to kind of do this in-house. We can't do that. Then he came back and called me again and said, well, I've enjoyed working on this dog park a lot and meeting you guys, and you guys seem really good to work with, and it's been a lot of fun. How about I donate my time and equipment to do this for you, and it'll cost you around 18,000. So I told him to give me a signed proposal for that, and he can get going this week as soon as possible, and it'll minimize the downtime of the sand volleyball courts. And so Ian and I got together, and what we would like to do, we were just going to use some fund balances from the rec operating budget and take 9,000 from professional services, but the other 9,000, we needed your approval to take it out of part-time lap salaries. If you feel like that is okay, that's what we were going to ask. And Mr. Ben Blair has done such a good job on the dog park. He can go ahead and have the sand volleyball courts constructed, and we can get the equipment in for the poles and the nets. And as fast as he is, we feel comfortable. And this seems like a great price.
He's doing a super job on the dog park. I'm telling you, it's awesome.
He is.
It's
So
looking really nice with your funds.
it's looking really good.
It's awesome. I can't wait to have
You'll have to
close
buy a dog.
Huh?
You'll have to buy a dog.
I will,
Cats are not
I
allowed.
will let you borrow mine.
I was gonna
Okay.
say,
Yeah,
I
I'll borrow
will
yours.
to borrow.
Yeah, that's right.
I just want to say, I want to note that Southern Appalachian Grading is donating $12,000 in labor on this project. That's the kind of community partnership is exactly what makes Waynesville special. And I want to make sure it doesn't go unrecognized.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Thank you, Anthony.
And I'll be glad if you want to recognize Ben Blair in any way. I'm telling you, Ben Blair and his company have been so great. I mean, he gets stuff done, and he does his craftsmanship. He makes sure that our dog water stations have been. I mean, the whole the shading up there. So I can't say enough good things about Ben so far. He's the type of contractor you want.
They're the same folks that's doing Balsam Edge, correct? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, could somebody give me a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve $18,000 to Southern Appalachian Grading and Excavating for the relocation of the sand volleyball courts to Recreation Park, and authorize the relocation of funds within the Recreation Department operating budget as outlined.
Second.
Got a second by Julia. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, show like sign. Okay, friend.
Thank you so much. Yeah, the public's wanting to play volleyball as soon as possible, so we felt like this would be a good opportunity. So.
Any idea on the schedule of the fence for the dog park?
So Mark Morris with Fencescapes has got to put up the safety netting at Vance Field for over top of the fence. And then he's got to put the gates in. But what I wanted to do this week was give him a call and see if he could go ahead and get the dog park fence started.
Yeah.
And I need to talk with Ben Blair and me and him, all three of us on site, because we want to make sure the fence is in the right location where the ditch is, and make sure it lines up really good, and also make sure that with the fence around that edge, we don't hit any utilities, anything like that. So we just needed to get a game plan together, but
Yeah.
Mark can move pretty fast.
Yeah,
And
I think we definitely need to do a ribbon cut on the dog park. Sure.
yes. I would say and suggest if you wanted to do it just to give us enough time with fencing parts and leeway on by the end of May, early June. I don't want to, because I think I just got to get with the fencing contractor to make sure things can go. Ben's pretty much done, but we'll need to put our rule signs up. We've already got the pet waste stations ready to go. Michael's got to put out the benches on the concrete. So we could be ready even before the end of May, but to give enough time.
Yeah, just keep us posted. Thank you.
Yeah,
And maybe putting a special appreciation ceremony on the agenda to say thank you, because that's a big donation.
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, I don't know if we have any citizen recognition
We
official
should.
things, but.
100%, yeah.
Yeah. I'll let Ben Blair's not the top maybe so I'll get him in here. I'll tell him to come, and we can recognize him. So I'll be glad to put that on the agenda.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you so much. council.
Thank you so much. Okay, so we move on to item 8, approval of contract with Sam Managed Services to and responsible to the town of Waynesville Comprehensive Stormwater Infrastructure. Olga.
Good evening, Olga Gruman, Assistant Development Services Director. In August of last year, we've been audited by the State of North Carolina DEQ Division for our compliance with MPDS, also known as stormwater permit. We didn't really have many deficiencies, very minor, but one of the deficiencies was our incomplete map of the stormwater infrastructure. The quote from our permit, which is a requirement, is to develop, update, and maintain a municipal storm sewer system map, including stormwater conveyances, flow direction, major outflows, and waters of the United States receiving stormwater discharges. Our department have been updating the map. We do have a stormwater map, but we have been only updating outflows and SCMs like ponds, underground detentions, because that's something that we regularly inspect and monitor. We do have a map of pipes, manholes, catch basins, conveyances, and grease traps, but it is outdated, so it goes back about a decade ago. So the purpose of the comprehensive stormwater infrastructure mapping project is not only to bring the town into full compliance with our stormwater permit, but also create this comprehensive map of stormwater infrastructure and to integrate this map with our existing sewer, electric, and water map. And that would also be helpful to public services to manage repairs and to monitor the condition of the infrastructure and to investigate any illicit discharge complaints. So that's the purpose. And the collected data will consist of photos and detailed attributes, including but not limited to condition assessment, material, sizes, connections, and flow directions for culverts, manholes, catch basins, grease traps, and stormwater pipes, and other stormwater features. So with that in mind, in December 2025, the town issued a request for qualifications for an engineering firm to provide us with this mapping project. And the RFQ is attached to your agenda packet. The town also formed the interdepartmental committee of 8 people, including the town manager, Rob Heights, Jesse, development services staff, and public works leadership. We had a pretty good response. We had 18 submissions nationwide. They came from the firms nationwide. We went through the selection process, and the committee unanimously selected SAM Geospatial Services because of their strong track record of doing similar projects for other municipalities and their project management skills in general. So in front of you today, you have the proposed contract that was prepared by SAM Geospatial Services, reviewed by Rob and our staff several times. So this contract is for this fiscal year only because we do have $40,000 already allocated in our stormwater budget. So this contract will allow SAM Geospatial to start work this May and finish the phase 1 of work until the end of this fiscal year. The contract for next fiscal year is to be determined based on the budget. So we will come back with a new contract as the budget allows us next fiscal year. But this contract in particular will at least let them start phase 1 of the project, and then phase 2 will be next fiscal year. So that completes staff report. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer.
Julia, have any questions?
Olga, what are we projecting into next year's budget to continue this project?
So we requested $50,000 in our stormwater budget, and we hope it would complete that.
40 this year and then another, okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, John? Anthony?
Of course,
You always got
question.
questions.
One question. When the auditor identified this deficiency in August, did they give us a specific remediation timeline?
They did not. They just noted it in their report, and the idea is we comply.
It will be
Yeah.
compliant.
And this is very also useful in general for practical reasons. Yeah.
Yes, motion, my friend.
You want to?
Go for it.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the contract with SAM Management Geospatial Services in response to the town of Waynesville's comprehensive land stormwater infrastructure managing mapping of RFO.
It's a
RFQ.
mouthful.
Yeah, my glasses on.
No, that was a tongue twister.
I had, yeah, there's a lot there.
There's a second.
Anyway, that's my motion.
I'll second.
Got a second. Anthony, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, so like so. Thank you.
Thank you.
But that problem down there at the Army, because being there, we keep it sandbagged to keep water from coming in that door. Would that be part of the stormwater project, or is that something totally different?
That'd just be something we need to handle inside. If
Inside.
you'll remind me, I'll make sure that we have some money set aside to do that.
Yeah,
That'd be a flood proofing project.
we got a little nervous and Luke told me I better get the sandbags put back in place, and so we did. So it's a little dangerous. Okay, we'll move right along. Communication with staff. Rob, you have anything for us tonight?
Just to go over kind of the next 2 or 3 weeks, we're excited to open up the RFQs for the Fire Station 2 on Thursday.
Cool.
And you can see the broad smile on Cody's face over there. And we'll be, I know, it was a joke. I've just never seen him smile before. I thought I'd try. And we'll be moving very quickly on that. And, midweek next week, we'll sit down and go over those proposals and see if we need to interview any of the finalists, and then bring you back a proposal hopefully at the earliest by your May 12th meeting, so that we can negotiate a contract. This is an interesting process because the USDA has stuck their nose in it. And what we have to do is contract for a preliminary architectural review to meet USDA guidelines. And then if they approve the $2,970,000 that the Congress has already appropriated, then we'll continue with the contract through design and construction drawings. Secondly, in mid-May, we'll be opening up the bids for the solar emergency system for the Public Works building. And at the end of May, we'll be opening up a $10 million project to raise the Little Champion pump station above the 500-year flood level and convert it to a low pressure pump system. And we also realized that we put several $100,000 in the finance building, and part of our insurance settlement is still available. And I've worked with an engineer to develop a flood proofing system for the finance building so that hopefully it won't flood again. And that involves installing flood proof doors, and there's some panels under the windows outside that would leak when it floods. Those panels would be replaced with tiles and then sealed. And I'll be bringing you those quotes in for you to approve. And that's a flood proofing project. And we may be able just to take a couple of those flood doors and put them over there at the armory. The flood doors are expensive, but they're not as expensive as having to go in and redo that finance department again, because it is going to flood again.
Okay.
So
That little creek right there jumps out.
well, they not only that, it kind of flows down to the parking lot. We found out.
It's a low spot.
Yeah. So anyway, and then of course, hopefully by the 12th of May, we'll be bringing you a budget. We will be bringing it to you with sad faces, but that's just the way things are. As you know, I'm very concerned with what's going on in the legislature, and that will probably affect our recommendation to you for a budget. And that's it, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, anybody have questions for Rob?
A question, of course, sorry.
No, but Rob, I will call you out on the carpet. Just let the public know about our water level at the watershed.
I forgot.
Please, and report on that.
I've forgotten. You've already asked me once this week. We are at Full Pond. We're very fortunate to have our reservoir because any of the cities in this entire state that are getting water directly from a stream or river, they're already in water restrictions.
Mhm.
And once again, we have to thank the elected officials that bought the watershed and built the dam, even though they lost their
They
election.
did.
They probably did the best thing that's ever been done for their
Best
state.
thing that ever happened.
But we're at Full Pond, and I promised Ms. Freeman that I would report to you, and let you know,
Yeah.
where the level is. But we got almost an inch of rain last night, so
Yeah.
hopefully
Yeah, really good rain.
we probably have water coming over
Thank
the
you for
spillway.
sharing that and easing the
Well-
minds of the public.
Well, no, yeah, but you're being kind because you've already told me to do it and I forgot.
I have one thing for Rob,
Okay,
and it's the SRF engineering report for the water interconnection is due July the 15th, which is 2 weeks after your retirement.
that's correct.
Can-
We have, now, when I say we, I mean Clyde, Canton, and Waynesville have all requested an extension until September 15th. The grants folks and the SRF are fine with it, and they indicated there'll just be no problem. We have finished probably a final draft of the interconnect agreement that we'll all have to approve. I have a final meeting at 3:00 tomorrow with the other managers, and we will be bringing that to you May 12th for your review and see what you think of it. It's a $20 million project. It's a remarkable project, and it's going to be somewhat of a difficult project because we'll be having to require miles of property to build it.
Rob also explained this at our COG meeting last Monday afternoon to each well, really, it only affects Clyde and Canton, but it does affect Haywood County. So Haywood County was there, Chairman Hensley, and so Rob's done a great job of explaining about what he just told you guys there. So they
I was
have
supposed to be there. I'm sorry. I missed it.
brought above of what's going on there. Yeah. Okay,
Thank you,
that's it
Rob.
for you, Rob?
He's on top of
That's it. I didn't even mention the interconnect agreement. I
Yes.
should have. My memory is fading as you
I have to-
go through the meeting, you see my memory fade.
I have notes all over the place right now. so-
Well, I forgot to even write notes.
Okay, town turn. Have nothing? Okay, we'll move on to our communication from mayor and staff. I would just like to say on behalf of myself and our board and our town staff that, Anthony, we are very sorry about your mom.
Yeah.
We're very sorry about your mom, and we just want you to know that we're on your side, on your team there during a loss like that. That's very difficult. I know John went through that not too far back, and it's a difficult situation. So our heart goes out to you and your family. That's all I have. Julia,
I don't have anything, sir.
John?
I would just ask you that y'all reserve Saturday, September 26th. It's the 40th anniversary of the downtown Waynesville revitalization efforts. And we're having a soiree at the
Arch.
No,
No?
the.
Don't clock.
Stop it.
The Scotsman Ballroom.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh,
So,
Cool.
I would have never gotten to that one.
Yeah,
No, no.
and
Don't be crazy.
I think it's going to be a great party, and we're very light on programming.
Yeah.
Heavy on the socialization and celebration and dinner. We got the Haywood Big Band is going to be playing, so
That's a nice
should be fun.
That's a nice ballroom. You got a lot of gold in it.
Huh?
You got a lot of gold in that ballroom.
There is actually a lot of gold up there.
There is a lot.
It is beautiful.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
It is.
You go there and you
I have to apologize to Elizabeth and Olga for this one. Sorry. Before we adjourn, I want to flag some stuff that I want ahead of May 12th's Chick-fil-A hearing. Sorry. I'd like to see the original 2016 conditional district ordinance, the original site plan, and the planning board minutes from that approval. And I have questions about what conditions were attached at the time of the original construction that I want answered before we vote on expanding that site. Thank you.
Okay. Are there anything else? If not, then I need someone to entertain a
I'll make a
motion to
motion to
adjourn.
adjourn.
I'll second.
All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, shall like sign. Man, couldn't last week's meeting be like this instead of 9 o'clock?
I'm okay.
I
if
have
we make up
theories.
for it.